Hello guys and welcome to another tutorial. Before we get into this tutorial, I just want to say a big thank you to all the love and support I've been receiving ever since the beginning, to be honest with you. So that's really awesome. Yeah, I was just checking over my analytics. I don't really check them that much. I just saw like 88 subscribers. I was like, wow. I haven't been active for like 2 or 3 months. The channel has been doing well and I hope I've been helping you guys as much as I possibly can. So yeah. Thank you very much. Nevertheless, I am back, at least for this video. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to get the CSGO maps from Blender and into Unreal Engine with all the textures and props. All my add-ons are currently up to date. Blender is also up to date, and I will be using the most up-to-date version of Unreal Engine 4. If you're not sure which add-ons I'm talking about, there is a video that you will need to watch on my YouTube channel. It is called How to Extract, Decompile and Import the CSGO Maps into Blender. I will leave an annotation to the video on this video, as well as a link to the video in the description. That video is going to show you what add-ons you need, how to set them up in Blender, as well as the first part of getting the files from CSGO, converting them into a readable file that Blender can then import. You will need to watch up to 12 minutes and 48 seconds. This will be the point just before you import the CSGO maps into Blender, as importing them for Unreal Engine uses different settings that I'm going to show you today. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is open up Blender. The Blender version that I'm using is 2.93.2, which I believe is the most up-to-date and recent version. We're going to click off. Now, assuming all your add-ons have been installed, if they don't, go watch the tutorial, because you won't find it in this one. We're going to select all the objects, click delete, just get rid of them. I'm also going to delete this collection box. The next thing we are going to do is come to File, Import, and we're going to click on Valve Map Format.vmf. Now, you're going to want to find the folder that you decompiled all your CSGO maps into. I showed you guys how to do that in the previous video, and I've named it the same for this video. So here I've called it YouTube folder maps decompiled. We're going to open that up. Now we're going to scroll down and find a map that we want. So I'm just going to choose Mirage, because Mirage is the best map. You can leave everything as the default settings apart from materials. So if we just click on the arrow, open up materials, we want simple materials selected. Keep the scale the same, keep everything the same. Your game definition should already be on Counter-Strike Global Offensive, because it will find the VPK or the game file from the add-on anyway. Before we click on import, it will be a good idea to come up to the window, click on Toggle System Console. Blender is very good at saying it's not responding, even though it's actually still processing stuff in the background. So by having this console up, you will actually know whether Blender has crashed, because nothing will be processing and you can see that in the console, or whether Blender is just saying it's not responding when it's still doing stuff. So it's a good idea to have this out. Once all that is done, we'll click on Import VMF. Now, depending on your computer, it's going to take different amounts, obviously depending on the map as well. So just be patient. So once this gets to 12 out of 12, I will be back. And as you can see, it says Blender is not responding. So you would have thought it has crashed, but it's actually still working. As you can see, importing models, the percentage of how much has been completed is going up. So I'll see you once this is done. Okay, so my import has just finished. Didn't take too long, maybe like 10 minutes, not even that. So if we just quickly look at the console, this is what it would look like as it's going, and as it has completed. As you can see, the percentages were going up, and it says here it's imported 900 solids, 600 overlays, 1800 props, 80 lights. Now 3 of them have failed of the solids and 12 of them have failed on the overlays. This is pretty normal. I wouldn't really worry about it. I mean, maybe you could find which ones have failed. Like I think it might say it here. And you could probably import them manually, but to be honest with you, you're probably going to be editing the map anyway, and the majority of the map is going to be here, so it should be completely fine. Plus we're only talking about like, what was that, 15 things altogether. It's not really a problem. But if you want to make it perfect, then be my guest. Anyway, we're going to minimize the console. Let's zoom out. The first thing I recommend you guys to do is to save your project. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, and I'm just going to call it YouTube Map. So I'm just going to go over the file that I didn't delete and save over it. Now what is all this stuff? So if we look over here, this is apparently supposed to be a part of the skybox. For those of you that don't know what the skybox is, it's basically the graphics for like the sky and the buildings surrounded it. And what happens is it's been scaled down. If you look over here, this is our skybox, and as you can see, it's really small and it's shrunk down, and these are the buildings that's going to be surrounding it. I'm going to show you guys how to apply that. Now, it's totally up to you if you want to keep these. I personally like to delete them because I don't believe you can see them in the map. Maybe it changes the light. I mean, even that is sort of creative, but I don't know. But for the moment, I'm just going to leave it there, and I'm going to show you guys how to apply the skybox. So to apply the skybox is very simple. We're just going to left click, drag and hold, drag the mouse over until you've selected all of the skybox, which will just be these pieces here. Then we're going to go to the left, click on object, go all the way down, and it's going to be called Transform VMF 3D Sky. We're going to click on it, and voila, it's already done. Now, you don't have to do that, but you can if you want to. If you're going to be changing the sky, you might not need it. You can always delete a layer anyway if you change your mind, and maybe you don't want some of the buildings, I don't know. It's whatever you guys need to do. Before we get exporting this, there's one very important thing you guys need to do, and that is come up to the top right and click on Viewport Shading. And this is going to load in the graphics, and it's going to use our EV engine, which is essentially, I guess you could say it's like the game-based render engine. So it doesn't use accurate light calculations and all this type of stuff. And this is what our graphics look like. And you can see all the textures are loaded in. One thing you guys might want to do is, if we scroll into the map, we have a few things that we can delete. So we have these little, I guess they're like alpha banners. I believe this was for like a game mode that CSGO never introduced. I could be completely wrong in that, but I'm pretty sure I read that online. But feel free to delete these. You can still do this in Unreal Engine. I personally just like to do it in Blender. Anyway, so if you want to delete them, just click on them, then click delete, and it will be gone. I'm just going to undo it for the sake of it. So these will be around the bomb sites. So you've got one on Our Mirage, and then bomb site B is down here. Ooh. There we go. There's one here. So they're going to be, I believe, on every single map. Just delete them. Before we move on, I can't even remember if I said this already, but the reason why we're going to go to Viewport Shading is because if we don't do this, What's going to happen is we're going to export this map as an FBX and import it into Unreal, and the textures are going to be white. And the reason why they're white, it's sort of just based on what you're viewing. So not using any textures, it's just going to copy everything that has not been textured. That makes sense. So you need to be viewing the textures in the correct shader in order to get the textures to work into Unreal. Next, we are going to export our map. So we have two file types that we can use. We can use FBX or OBJ. FBX is going to allow you to take the map animations and import them into Unreal. So maybe if you have like moving trees or something, the trees will still be able to move. FBX also allows you to get the normal maps, but it doesn't allow you to get the opacity masks, whereas OBJ essentially does the opposite. It can get the opacity marks, but it doesn't really get the normal maps. So personally, I'm just going to be sticking with FBX. So we're going to click A on our keyboard to select everything in the world. We'll then click File, External Data, Unpack all into files. Then we're going to click the second one, which is Write Files to Current Directory. And what this basically does is it takes all of the textures and, well, unpacks it essentially. So it takes it out and puts it into another folder, which I can actually show you guys. If we go in the console, we can also see that it has save packed file to the desktop textures, and it'll have all the textures. So if we could look on my desktop, it has a textures folder and it has all the textures in here. So I believe that just makes it easier for Unreal Engine to apply the textures once we import. So yeah, don't delete it. Also, I didn't make this textures folder or anything. Blender will do all that stuff for you. So once we have done that, go back into Blender, we'll go to File, Export, and FBX. I'm going to save mine on the desktop under YouTube Maps. These are just some old maps that I've been messing around with. So I'm just going to call it Cache Free. What I will do is I'll delete these two for you guys, but I am just going to call it Cache Free because I don't want Blender to crash again, just in case. I don't want to record it again. We are going to export with the default settings. Again, make sure you have your console out. If you don't have it out now, you can still do it. Export FBX. We're going to check our console and we're just going to wait. Okay, so our import has finished. It took 62 seconds. So once we have done that, we can move to Unreal. So feel free to close Blender. Okay, so I'm using Unreal Engine 4.27.0. I'm going to create a new project, so we're going to click on Games, click Next, and blank and Next. Name your project whatever you want. Probably a good idea to name the map, so just put de_mirage.d and choose where you want your file to be saved. Once you've done that, feel free to click on Create Project. Okay, so once your Unreal Engine has loaded, I'm just going to delete everything. So once you have deleted everything, we're going to right click down below, come up, new folder. I'm just going to call it Map. You can call it de Mirage or however you like, but I just want to make sure we get the map in here. Next, we're going to come up to File and we're going to click Import into Level. And this is how we're going to get our map into Unreal Engine. So I'm going to go to where I've saved it, which is in my desktop, YouTube Maps, Cache Free, FBX or OBJ. I'm going to click Open. Next, we have to choose where we want our importing to importing files to go. So I'm going to click on map and click on OK. So all the files related to the map are going to go into the map folder. Next, our importing settings are going to come up, and we're just going to use the default. So here it is. You can have a look if you want, but I promise you, just using the default will work perfectly fine. And now we wait. Okay, so our import has just finished. Took quite a while, maybe like 10 or 15, 20 minutes. And as you can see, it looks great. All the textures are here. I'm just going to click in the sky to get rid of these lines. And yeah, everything looks good. We have some sort of mesh collision going on here. That could be solved very easily. Have some more maybe over there too. And we have these banners like we had before. You can click on them and just delete them. And yeah, that's basically it. You just need to go through the map, change the textures or look at the textures and sort some of them out. But the majority of it is all done for you. It's here and ready to go in Unreal Engine. Don't forget to save your project. I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, and I will be bringing out some more tutorials soon, so keep an eye out on that. And I have some other Blender videos that you might be interested in. I'll leave the Blender playlist at the end of this video and maybe like a recommended video. But anyway, thank you for watching and take care.